Hello, my name is, well, on Twitter it's called S the General or at General the S or General Estha because Twitter handles are a nightmare and are taken up all the time. Um, the only real bit of internet notoriety I have is I called Chris Pratt portraying Mario in 2020. Um, the original, I guess I'm gonna gush for a bit. The original way I came to that thought was because the Mario movie was announced, I think 2019. We only ever knew it was in production, and we had heard absolutely nothing about it. But I had begun kind of taking note of some animated uh, feature trends, especially about how voice actors are basically non-existent in those movies. I guess unless you're Frank Welker, who just does animal noises, you are your role's pretty much going to be taken up by a celebrity. Um, so I originally planned on making like a fake news article about like fake updates about the movie, like, oh, Chris Pratt's going to play Mario, Scarlett Johansson's going to be Princess Peach, just trying to name as many A-list actors that would reasonably do a project like that. We didn't get Scarlett Johansson, and I was too lazy to do the fake news article skit anyway, so I just posted it on Twitter, and it was nothing for a year until they gave more concrete news about the movie. And then it was weird because I was at work the day that tweet when it was announced that Chris Pratt was in fact going to play Mario. So I did not check Twitter at all. I just had my phone in my pocket, and then when I got off work, I got on the internet and I was like, I must have said something really stupid, but it turns out I said something really smart for once in my life. Um, but yeah, so that, I guess that kind of has further tied me into, put me entwined with this movie, like gave me more personal investment to see it. Not that I was entirely against seeing the movie. I am a fan of Mario. I've grown up with Mario for decades, for 2 decades basically. Um, he is our generation's Mickey Mouse. Everyone knows him and loves him. Um, Basically, every Mario game I've ever played is amazing. From Sunshine to 64 to Galaxy to Odyssey, all the Mario Karts and all the Mario parties, I've had a lot of fun with Mario. So I've, of course, would have been like invested in the movie, but I was always like, maybe maybe I'm a bit too old to see an animated movie based off a game. I mean, I'm not. I saw Sonic earlier this year, so clearly I'm not above nostalgia baiting, but just guessing things right, getting this sort of small yet large Twitter following kind of gave me a bit more investment into it. I guess going into this trailer, people were like, Chris Pratt kind of went from being like the most beloved celebrity in Hollywood to like Twitter hating him, and I still don't really know the full story about it. I hear very conflicting things about him going to like a homophobic church, and then him saying he isn't a religious person, and then people saying he never even said that in the first place. So if anyone wants to tell me exactly what happened, type it in all caps to let me know that you're shouting and very angry at me for not knowing about it. And yeah, and it Chris Pratt as Mario was never like to say, oh, Chris Pratt can't voice act. He's not a good actor. That's not true. He is a good actor and he's a fine voice actor. He was great in the Lego movie. None of these people are bad actors at all. I'll get into some of that later, but it was never a problem of and like it was a problem. It was like Charles Martinet, who, yes, he is technically going to cameo in the movie. I'll make a theory about that in a second, but the problem was always like Charles Martinet has voiced this character for 30 years, and he is not going to voice him in the major motion picture movie. And that's sort of been kind of a problem when we've in I guess like the only like example of like an actor, no, a voice actor sticking with the character even till the major motion pictures is like Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. But like outside of that, like Frank Welker didn't get to voice Megatron at all, even though Frank Welker is one of the greatest voice actors ever. And like even and I made a joke about voice actors being replaced uh, 2 years ago, but it seems to have gotten worse now, especially with anime voice actors trying to start a union and union actors not getting respect. But anyway, yeah, so we basically just spent most of an entire year only knowing that it's a Mario movie and the main cast is Chris Pratt, who he's a good leading man. I've never really had really much confidence of him pulling off a good Mario voice, and we'll get to that a little later. Charlie Day, who's a little bit of a better fit for playing Luigi, but that's mainly because Luigi's kind of considered the cowardly one of the two, and Charlie Day has pretty much always kind of had the manic, like on edge personality in most of the things he's been in. Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach, who I haven't seen many Anya Taylor-Joy movies. From the picture that they showed, my first reaction is like, oh, she could have been a good live action Peach. Jack Black as Bowser was considered the funniest one, but he might actually be the person pulling the most weight in terms of playing a character instead of just doing his Jack Black routine in a funny animated animal. Not to say that that didn't work in Kung Fu Panda. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. I'm fine with Seth Rogen, but don't know if he'll actually try to play a monkey. Like, I just imagine he's probably just going to do his Seth Rogen shtick with a few monkey puns in it. Keegan Michael Key as Toad, which was, in all honesty, my like that's the funniest picture when they announced that. Is like that again. Keegan Michael Key is a very good actor, and all from the trailer we saw, he's trying to put on a voice. He's not just being himself. He's doing a Toad voice. From what little we saw, everyone is doing a voice, but like the three people who've spoken in that trailer, the characters we care about anyway. Yeah, that was as far as I knew who was playing who so far. I think I've forgotten. I know there's another celebrity playing Kamek, the Magic Koopa, but I can't really remember who it was at the top of my head. The fact it was Illumination doing the movie instead of like Pixar, which I think like for the longest time, I think people would have preferred Pixar to do the movie because Pixar's legacy is kind of longer and has more kind of masterpieces under its belt than Illumination. I'm not an anti-Illumination person. I have never really hated the Minions, but that's mainly because I've never really watched the Despicable Me movies. I've seen like half of the first one in like a Spanish class, so I didn't really even get the full story behind the movie. But I've seen clips of their other things, and I always kind of like, it was never really going to be, I never really had a problem. Like, I never had a fear of it, like, oh, the movie's going to look bad. Their movies, from what I've seen, have always generally looked pretty. They've always been bright and colorful. They're, of course, a little more kid appealish, like very, very young kids. It's like, haha, it's the funny Minion, and just print it on a shirt and make a million plushies of it. But then again, that's not really above Mario. Like, Mario's not above that. They do it anyway. But yeah, the movie's gonna look pretty. Was always gonna look pretty. We still haven't really seen much of it, so like the concern of the Goomba is going to be as like annoyingly comic relief as the Minions has not been really proven or disproven yet. So yeah. As for the trailer itself, it's very short. From before they even started, like Miyamoto and I think one of the guys from Illumination, of course, Chris Pratt and Jack Black, have did little introductions about what it was like working on the movie. They said it took like 7 years to do on it, which um, probably makes sense. Animation. I've always been kind of a defender of computer animation and CGI, and I know how long it takes. And like the reason a lot of Marvel projects have looked bad is because of how little time they get to do on it. But this is like they've apparently been working on this for 7 years, and they're still not quite finished yet. I think this is probably, from what it sounded like, they still had to do some lighting. But even from the trailer, it looked pretty. It looked fine. It looks pretty not fine. It looks pretty good. It looked really good, pretty good, really good. Um, and of course, we're not. It sounds like we're not going to have the Sonic movie problem of it being of a good movie, but like the soundtrack that we all love is not in it. It's from what they said they are trying to incorporate the classic tunes into the movie, which will be fun to hear. I'd love to hear some Mario Galaxy music in it, but we're probably going to stick to like the latest is probably 64 and maybe Odyssey, but um yeah, I'll be okay in terms of they're not going to include the music. They're going to include the music. Um there's the movie has some typical slapstick, which is fine for a Mario movie, and Mario has always been kind of cartoony. I mean, yeah, he is. That I think the concern was it being too cartoony, which like Mario's shtick of him being kind of a blank slate that can, like, you could pick him up and then put him into like a slightly different, more serious tone. Uh, Kind of allows him to be like flexible in terms of tone, which like this movie kind of seems to be going for both the cartoony tone, but having like an epic like we gotta stop Bowser from taking over the kingdom, and Bowser being like super powerful, which is fine. It will give like kids like a grand epic saga, and of course like the 30-year-old man children some cool action scenes to look at. I guess we gotta talk about the voices now. Very impressed by Jack Black. He didn't sound exactly like Jack Black. He's doing a growl for Bowser, which I was a little concerned he wouldn't do, but yeah, he is actually trying, so that's fun. Again, Keegan Michael Key is it's not quite the kind of. I'm sorry that was awkward, but that is what Toad sounds like nowadays. He's very kind of high pitched and squealy. He's not high pitched and squealy, but it is a voice, and it is higher. It is higher, so that's acceptable for Toad. He is not annoying, which I know most of the fan base would be worried about. I guess from the poster, we're gonna see a whole bunch of Toads, and the question is like, oh, is Keegan Michael Key gonna voice every Toad in the movie? Which would be funny. It would be a funny joke. We seem to have Captain Toad. I'm hoping, since he is kind of my favorite Toad, that he would be the main Toad, I guess. And from I guess my mom and dad watching this, Toad is kind of like a race of mushroom people. They're all named Toad. They're like the Smurfs. They are an occupation Toad. I guess Chris Pratt. Again, absolutely nothing against him as an actor, and he is a fine voice actor. And it was weird. Like there was the concern of like, well, Chris Pratt is an Italian and he's playing an Italian character. And there was that weird bit of like the president of Illumination, I think, saying like, yeah, we didn't cast an Italian as as Mario, but we cast Charlie Day's Italian and he's Luigi, so that's kind of our reference to it. It's like that's only like that still doesn't solve the first problem. It's a very weird thing about it, but like we've all done a Mario. If you're a Mario fan, you've tried to do the Italian Mario voice at some point. I'm of Irish descent, and I've tried to do a Mario voice. The original um, movie Mario. Bob Hoskins is British, and he was a much better Mario than that movie honestly deserved. But uh, so it was never really. I mean, of course, it would still probably be dancing on the edge of stereotyping and stuff. But Mario is kind of a stereotype. He's not the worst stereotype an Italian can be. He's happy-go-lucky. He's brave. He's heroic. But yeah, Chris Pratt. I think he's doing like a slight Italian accent. It's not the like kind of the higher Charles Martinet voice, and it's more so just Chris Pratt's regular voice. But like at some points, he'll say like "Let's go." This is not really impressive. It's not even like the higher Emmett voice he did during the Lego movie. It's kind of generic. I guess that's I don't know what we were expecting, but it's certainly something. Um, of course, the teaser trailer's short. It's only got like it only shows off like three scenes, and only like the first one is of any like significance. It's Bowser invading a penguin kingdom, an ice penguin kingdom, and that I feel like that was for 30 seconds. The second scene is Mario waking up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Again, it all looks very pretty. It's a ton of mushrooms. Um, ton of mushrooms. Ha. Drug joke. But anyway, yeah, Mario meeting Toad was probably like 10 seconds. And then there's the scene of Luigi running into a castle away from enemies, and that was probably like 4 seconds. So the trailer doesn't show a lot. It is a teaser trailer. It's the first teaser trailer, and they're still working on animation, so I'm not too surprised by that, but it is. I'm pretty sure most people are probably disappointed in the trailer. I haven't checked Twitter yet. I'm filming this like immediately after I watched the Nintendo Direct live stream about it. I did try to brag about that I called Chris Pratt 2 years ago, but like I don't know what I was expecting. The Nintendo Direct live stream chats are way too fast for anyone to notice a damn thing. So I am at least in the chat. So if you want to look, you can try. It's not really that impressive, but anyway. So that was the trailer. It existed. It was pretty to be expected. We didn't really hear any real Mario music, at least none that I really recognize. It's not any of the main themes. I think there was. I feel like even like the Luigi trailer had that. I mean, the Luigi bit had like that generic like rising then Donna kind of like intense trailer music. On a side note, this is more so just reminding me that I kind of hate trailers nowadays. I think most of them are very bad. I think we can blame Fast and Furious and Marvel movies for just kind of not trying. Most discussion on Twitter is kind of making fun of posters, which the poster it looks fine to this movie at least. It looks good. It looks good. But I'm more of a trailer person. A trailer is supposed to show more than just the poster. A poster can look very pretty, and if it's a very good poster, it'd be very cool to hang on your wall. But the trailer's the most important part to hook people into a movie, and right now it's most trailers suck. This one isn't amazing. It's at least something. I think there was a rumor about like 2 months ago that we would hear something about this in a direct, but nothing came of it. So they would have made it. I feel like they would have made a bigger deal about it, like they did this time. So I guess that's really all I have to say about it. The movie looks fine. I'm sure later trailers they'll show in other Nintendo Directs that they'll show more in general. We'll probably eventually get trailers that show Princess Peach and Donkey Kong, and hear more of Luigi, Charlie Day's screaming panics. Yeah, I'll be more excited for those, I imagine. I guess that's all I really have to say. I don't know if this is going to be like a grand return to YouTube. I didn't really have a grand presence in the first place, so if people want me to keep making videos, like have little discussions about stuff, I don't think it's going to be just entirely Mario based. My Twitter account isn't even entirely Mario like centered, like entirely focused on Mario. I like other things. That was the tweet that blew up, so we'll see. Sorry to waste 21 minutes of your time. It flew by fast for me. I'm very sorry about that, but yeah, I hope you all have a good day, and leave your thoughts down below. Goodbye.